All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about this. Okay, so I told you I'd come back and let you look. There's a little bit more information that come out about President Trump's second. They're saying second assassination attempt. I'm saying three. I told you in the last video just because there was the threat that he had down in Arizona where he told the reporter that it wasn't safe and that he couldn't talk to her, so he had to leave. That was actually the second one. The first one being um, the one that clipped his ear, where there was shots fired and everything else. Now we got this third one that he was on his golf course on Sunday, and I guess the guy Ryan Wesley Roth, I think is how you say it. Not that it really matters anyway if I messed up his name, but apparently, so this guy was the mainstream media is trying to tell everybody that this guy was he's a Republican. He's not. He did vote for Donald Trump in 2016. He came out and said that it was a mistake. He was a Biden Harris supporter. He had the bumper sticker on his truck supporting those two. So I mean, take that. I don't. He wasn't a Republican. That's just it's not right. He's not a Republican. He's a Democrat. Anyway, he was caught. Apparently, he was on that golf course for 12 hours waiting for President Trump to come through there. Now he was on a hole ahead. Um, they said that he was about 500 yards, which isn't no, was it 400? It was 400 yards, I think. Anyway, it wasn't that far. Look, 400 yards is not that far on a golf course. It's about a long par four is roughly about 400 yards. It's not that far, and he was waiting there for 12 hours. He went to this golf course at like 2 or 3 in the morning, I think they said, and just waited. Had the couple of bags up on the fence that were filled with. I guess I don't know. They made it sound like it was plates, and I don't know how that's gonna serve any kind of purpose. I mean, it's not Kevlar. I mean, it's not body armor. It's just anyway. That's besides the point. So Ryan Wesley Roth, he was a guy. He went to Ukraine. He was a big Ukraine supporter, and he went over there trying to. He said that he wanted to help fight, but they wouldn't let him fight, which is weird because they were letting anybody help them fight off Russia, but they wouldn't let this guy fight. But so he claimed he was there trying to recruit people to help them fight off the Russian invasion. Okay, you do you, I guess. I mean, um, but yeah, there's a few videos of him up that you can go and watch. Um, the media's been playing them all the time, but and every time the media brings it up, they say his they don't say it was an actual assassination attempt, which it was, because I don't know about you, but if a guy's on the golf course with a gun waiting for President Trump to come along to shoot him, that's an assassination attempt. Just because the Secret Service did their job and stopped him before it got to that point doesn't not make it an assassination attempt. You can't spin that any other way. And people aren't stupid. They're going to realize that. Okay? This guy, they're holding him on a gun charge because he was a felon and he had the gun in his possession and he wasn't supposed to own a gun because he's a felon. And I guess the serial number on the rifle was you know was tried to be taken off. So they got him on the gun charge and for filing off the serial number on the rifle. So they're holding him on that right now. Um, I guess that's a good. I mean, it's good that they're holding him. I mean, I would think that they would try to get conspiracy for murder on a former president would be good too to throw in there, but that's just me, I guess. Anyway, let's see. He was registered as an organization in Ukraine since 23. That's not him. Anyway, let's see. Ruth camped outside the golf course for 12 hours, lying in wait for former president before a Secret Service agent thwarted the potential attack and opened fire. Now they said that the Secret Service opened fire. I think they said it was about 4 shots that he shot at him, and Roth didn't fire back. He just fled, jumped into a car, and sped off. Now somebody who saw the guy running off actually got a picture of Roth's vehicle and the license plate, and was able to get with authorities, and they were able to pick him up on, I think they said the I-85, I think it was, in Florida. And kudos to the sheriff's department, the Secret Service, for doing a great job on this. They were able to get him pretty quickly. Um, let's see. Yeah, so it says he was there about 1:59 a.m. to about 1:31 p.m. Sunday, according to the FBI affidavit, the city's cell phone data, and a digital camera. Okay, so yeah, he had a GoPro with him, and I don't know if he was gonna film the whole thing or live stream it. I don't know. I mean, we don't know about that. It could have been he was gonna do a live stream of him shooting President Trump, or he could have just been gonna go record it and then post it later. We don't know about that. But they recovered, looks like, a digital camera, which was the GoPro, loaded SKS style rifle with a scope. That's what he had. Plastic bag containing food, and Ruth had been standing, according to the affidavit. So yeah, and this guy had a So this guy he had published a book that I think it had a whole big total of 0 copies sold, and it was called Ukraine's Unwinnable War. It might sell a couple copies now. Um, well, hey, who knows? I don't know. I'm not gonna buy it, but in the book, it states in there that he's telling Iran that they are free to assassinate Trump now. I don't know. I guess once they were just waiting for his approval, saying, okay, well, he said we can get him now, so let's go ahead and get him. Anyway, that was apparently it was published last year in 23, and describes the former president as a fool and a buffoon for both the January 6th, 21 Capitol riot. It wasn't whatever, and it was a tremendous blunder of leaving the Iran nuclear deal, and that's what it said in his book. Apparently, let's see. Apparently, Roth's son has said his father hated Trump, as every reasonable person does, but that was not a violent man. That's Roth, his son, apparently, who's 35, told the Daily Mail. He's my dad, and all he's had a couple traffic tickets, as far as I know. He said that's crazy. I know my dad, and I love my dad, but that's nothing like him. Well, he was a felon, and he wasn't supposed to have any firearms. So I'm guessing that you didn't know your dad too well. Anyway, he added, he's not a violent person. He's a hard worker and a great dad. He's a great dude, a nice guy, and has worked his whole effing life. Okay, well, hmm, okay. Anyway, um, so I guess I don't know. There's there's a lot of stuff going around about this guy as to who exactly, whether he was Democrat or Republican. I don't think he was a Republican at all. I mean, he obviously did not like President Trump, obviously, because he tried to assassinate him. You can say all you want about him, but he tried to take out a former president. So anyway, I got a few things put together here, and we're gonna take a look, and you can fill me in if I miss something. I'm sure I will. I usually do, but just let me know. And here, we'll take a look at a couple of these. All right, this is the sheriff who who's is in charge of the deputies who actually detained him and brought him in. So let's take a look at this.
1:30 this afternoon, call came out, shots fired. That was called in by the Secret Service. Because we're in constant contact with them all the time, we were notified of that, and we had units here that immediately sealed off the area. Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag, which was great. So
Yep.
we had that information. Our real-time crime center put it out to the license plate readers. And we were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County.
I
We
said
got a hold of
85.
Martin County Sheriff's Office, alerted them, and they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy. 1:30 to 7.
Okay, so I mean that's just a basic rundown of how it went down. Sounds pretty cut and dry, pretty straightforward, I guess. You know, yeah. Anyway, so okay, so all that happened, and then the news comes out. Now, the news is saying alleged, and they're not actually coming out saying that it was an attempted assassination, just because he was nowhere in the vicinity, and there was shots fired rather, but it was only from the Secret Service agent, not from the would-be assassin. That doesn't make it not an assassination attempt. It's still an assassination attempt. The news cycle is spewing BS 24/7, and to listen to them, I do it because I'm not. I have critical thinking skills, and I know how to call out the BS when I see it, and a lot of people do. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people know that the mainstream media is not anybody to be trusted, especially after the debate between President Trump and Kamala Harris. You can see the biases, and after my previous video where Kamala did the local interview in PA with the local guy, and no follow-up questions, softball questions that she didn't even answer, and then she goes on her merry way. It's a total of 5 questions, and then he just lets her go on her merry way. You can totally see the biases in the mainstream media. Anyway, so this next clip I want to show, this is so Hillary Clinton went on to, oh gosh, what's her name? I forget her name offhand. Huh. Anyway, I'm gonna feel like an idiot because I can't remember that newscaster's name right now. Anyway, Hillary Clinton went on. She was promoting her new memoir, which I think this is a total of 4 that she has now. Most people don't need 1, but apparently Hillary Clinton needs 4. So she's on there promoting her new book, and she started talking about President Trump and the rhetoric that he uses, and he's dangerous, and they're attempting to flip the narrative. They're saying President Trump's rhetoric is dangerous, and he's a threat to democracy, and they're still using the same rhetoric that they always used, saying that Trump's dangerous. And they haven't said Hitler lately, but they have said it in the past that President Trump is like Hitler, and I'm sure it'll come out again. Just it's crazy. Take a look at this. This is, like I said, Hillary Clinton, and here we go.
And I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. The late, great journalist Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it. They were merciless.
Okay, look. What this is what I'm talking about. They're not coming out and saying that this should have never happened, because it shouldn't have. They're coming out and saying that he's a this is all because of him and he's dangerous. And it's crazy to me that they're trying to spin it this way, that it's because of his own rhetoric that people are trying to take him out now. Is that not crazy to you? It's crazy to me. I can't. It's yeah. Uh, let's take a look at the next one. This is Hillary again.
Americans need to understand that they have to take Trump both seriously and literally. He has said what he wants to do. He and his allies with Project 2025, his desire to be a dictator, at least on day one, all of that is.
Look, I've said it before. I've said it 1,000 times, 1,000 at least. It has nothing to do with Project 2025. They keep throwing this thing out there, and I don't know why. He's come out several times. He said it in his last interview. He has nothing to do with Project 2025. He's purposely not read it because he has nothing to do with it. But yet they keep throwing it out there. Project 2025. Project 2025. It's frustrating. It infuriates me because it's just a bold-faced lie that they just keep spewing out there. Just like the whole, the good people on both sides and the bloodbath comment and all that stuff that's been debunked 1,000 times over, they keep spewing out because they have nothing else that they can say. Nothing. Nothing. And I give credit to I gotta give credit to Peter Ducey, because the guy is just a straight shooter. He come out, and this is him at when they were at the this was at the press conference with Kareem Jean Pierre, and it was good, and she didn't know what to do.
2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again.
And
you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat.
Yes.
How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump?
Exactly. How many more is it going to take? None. It's not going to take any, because they're just going to keep spewing it out. Because you know why? Because they don't want him in office. They know if he gets into office that all their plans are gone. That they don't want him in there. And if somebody happened to take him out, they wouldn't. Look, you'd see all kinds of stuff come out saying that it was wrong and blah blah blah, but they'd be happy as a clam. It's sad to say that there's people in our government that feel that way, but I truly believe that. I think that if one of these assassination attempts was successful, they wouldn't bat an eyelash. They'd come out and spew all kinds of BS about how sad they are about it and it should have never happened, but we all know that they'd be very happy about it because they wouldn't have to worry about him anymore. But I tell you what, even, God forbid, something like that did happen, the movement that President Trump has started, it won't end if he's not here. It won't. It's going to keep going because there's a lot of people that he's brought around to his America First agenda, and they're not going to stop. Let's continue with this.
Other than threat.
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question.
Of course you do.
The question that you're asking. It is also incredibly dangerous.
Oh, is it?
The way that you're asking it.
Is it?
Because American people are watching. And to say that...
Yeah, and you guys don't want to be called out.
From an administration who has consistently condemned political violence, from an administration where the president called the former president and was thankful, grateful that he was okay, from an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi, called out and said we need to lower the temperature after the Butler incident.
Look, the Butler incident, they came out and they said we need to lower the temperature. But then less than a week later, y'all were throwing out the same rhetoric about how Trump is dangerous and he's just like Hitler and blah blah blah. It it didn't take long for y'all to just go back to the same rhetoric that you were spewing before his assassination attempt in Butler. Less than a week.
And now for you to make that kind of comment in your question, because your question involved a comment and a statement.
She doesn't know what she's saying.
You know, it is, that is also incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't know what she's saying. She can spew all she wants about how they've condemned this and they've condemned political violence, but yet they keep coming back to it. They keep saying he's dangerous and he's Hitler and everything else. Look, just to give you an idea, this I want to show you this. This is a montage courtesy of Louder with Crowder, because y'all know I watch him. And this is a montage from Louder with Crowder of all of their rhetoric about how Orange Man bad. Check it out.
Let's not pretend that Donald Trump isn't exactly like Mussolini, exactly like Hitler. He is that guy.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump.
I'm looking at one.
President Biden made the case.
Look, and this is all after. This is all after the Butler incident.
Donald Trump is
How much money did he make on the global war on terror?
Democracy.
Did Donald Trump even read Hitler? Many of the recipients of his messages may not have read Hitler, but
okay,
these things are tried and true.
It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
It's that desire to stay in power potentially indefinitely, which, we're seeing still playing out.
Don't you have a queen?
Trump, thinking that he was wrongfully denied a second term.
This is his country. He's becoming an autocrat.
One thing we've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
Look, okay, you can admonish me on that. I was wrong. It wasn't all after the Butler incident, but a lot of them were. Okay, but like I said, my statement still stands that even after the Butler incident, they still came out with the same rhetoric saying that he's bad, he's going to destroy our democracy, blah 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 blah. And our the worst since the Civil War? I mean, really? Really? I don't think so. But hey. Anyway. Let's take a look at this one, okay? This one, now President Biden, he came out and was talking at a HBC. And he brought up the incident of the would-be assassin on Donald Trump's golf course and said that there's no place for violence, no place for political violence, which I agree with. Let's show this one real quick, and then I'll show you the next one.
Before I begin, I want to make a quick reference. The attempted assassination against our former president in Florida yesterday. I commend the Secret Service for the expert handling of the situation. And the former president is protected from harm, and the subject is in custody. An acting head of the Secret Service is in Florida today assessing what happened and determining whether any further adjustments need to be made to ensure the safety of our former president. Let me just say, there is no, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, those of you who know me, many of you do, no place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero. Never.
Okay. So, he said that, which I have no problem with. I think he should have said that. But, then he says this.
We're still in the battle. We're still in the battle for the very soul of America. In 2020, I ran, and I give you my word, this was the reason. I ran to redeem the soul of America and restore decency and dignity to the office of the presidency.
Now, I'll say he may not have come out and exactly said, the talking points that the media always uses, and Hillary Clinton and everybody else, but he just condemned it, and then turned around and at the same speech said that we're still in a battle for the soul of America. Anyway, so there's that. Now look, they're trying to come out and say that the everybody knows during the debate with him and Kamala, President Trump and Kamala, they had an exchange about Ohio and Springfield, Ohio, and the whole dog and cats thing. And look, there's people that are saying that it's happening, and then the politicians are saying that it's not, and I haven't seen any evidence to it other than just some personal people that I've seen videos of online. I don't know. Anyways, the real issue is the fact that there's 20,000 migrants in that city that have pretty much they're just overrunning. They're making it hard for the actual citizens that live there. Their cost of living has gone up, housing has gone up, food, rent, everything's gone up because the government's pretty much got 20,000 Haitian immigrants on welfare, and it's putting a giant strain on the city. That's the real story. But now they've been getting some bomb threats, and the mainstream media, who are lackeys for the Democratic Party, have all been coming out saying that it's because of J.D. Vance and President Trump's rhetoric that the bomb threats are happening. But it's coming from sources like the bomb threats. There's been 33, according to the Ohio governor. And he straight up said that they're coming from overseas sources. How does that play into J.D. Vance and President Trump? All they're doing is trying to bring light to the situation of what's actually going on there. Should they have done it differently than saying dogs and cats? Yeah, probably. But at least people are actually seeing what's actually going on there. And it's not just happening there. It's happening I just saw a story today in Alabama that it's happening there too. So it's not just happening in Springfield, Ohio. These stories are happening all over the U.S. because of the open border policy that Vice President Harris and Biden have put into place and have just let go on for the last 3.5 years. Anyway, take a look at this. This is from Louder with Crowder again, but this is the Ohio mayor, or governor rather, talking about the fact that these bomb threats have been happening. There's been 33 of them, and they've been coming from overseas sources. So let's watch this real quick.
At least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax. So 33 threats, 33 hoax. I want to make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity.
Hoaxes. 33 hoaxes from overseas sources. Now, he hasn't said that part yet, but he does in just a moment here. Look, 33 hoaxes, and that's J.D. Vance's and President Trump's fault? Help me make sense of that, because I don't understand it.
At all. We have people, unfortunately, overseas who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country.
All right, so there
you go. Overseas sources. Like I said, make it make sense to me, because I don't understand it. Yeah. Anyway, there's a little bit more. I mean, like I said, I wanted to get a little bit more information about Roth or Ruth or however you say his name. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that's what I've got so far. He went to Ukraine to try and join that war. They wouldn't let him, so he tried helping out recruiting people for the war. And as far as I understand, he didn't do a very good job of that either. And then he came back. He did vote for Trump in 2016. Said it was a mistake. He should have never done it. Voted for Biden and Harris, and then now he's tried to, take out President Trump. So crazy. I told you it's going to get crazy. It's going to get worse. Who knows what the October surprise is going to be? Not me. Not me. We'll find out, I guess. I mean, it's going to get nuts. It's going to get nuts. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.